Today we are going to go over painting techniques to begin our self-portraits. Already you have your portrait drawn on to the canvas board lightly in pencil and you're ready to paint. Before we can paint, we got to talk about paint and different basic painting techniques. There's a variety of different materials that you're going to need when you paint. One is you're going to need an egg carton, a plastic egg carton or a styrofoam egg carton with your colors laid out, a container of water, and each of the colors matches your table, and the line should be filled up right here. This is your water line. Do not fill it up higher than this. You're going to need a variety of different brushes, a paper towel, and to begin we're going to be working with a worksheet to practice different painting techniques before we jump into our actual artwork. Alright, so let's talk about brushes first. We have a variety of different brushes. This right here is called a flat brush. It takes large areas, it paints large areas, and there's two different sizes. You got a large one and a small one. These are really good for large areas that need to be completely painted in flat. Right here, this is called a round brush. Okay, this is good for medium spaces. You can do a lot of really fine lines with this one. This right here is called a chiseled tip brush. Okay, you notice that the side is slanted. This is really good for really detailed like side work. Right here is your fine point. This is the skinniest of the brushes. If you have really tiny details, this brush is great. Okay, and then this is a round brush as well. This is a little smaller than the green one here. So what you want to do is you want to get a couple different brushes that you really like to use to get prepared for the worksheet. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to write your name at the top of this, and then we're going to start to begin. So we're going to move the paint a little farther away so that you can see. The first thing is I want you to practice small strokes. So you're going to get any color, it doesn't matter at this point, so let's just do red. When you put paint on your brush, you want to just dip the tip in here. You don't ever want to get the metal of the paintbrush wet with paint, just the tip. So what we're going to do is we're just going to practice some small strokes with the paint. You can practice a couple different brushes to see what they do and which ones you like and which ones you don't. Right here we're going to work with large strokes, so you can use the medium tip or the large tipped brush. So I'm, again, just dipping it very gently into the top. You don't need a lot of paint, and we can notice what large strokes do. I'm going to try it again with this medium brush. Okay, if you always get too much on your brush, you can always kind of wipe it on the side. So here's large strokes as well. Okay, this one right here is pointillism, where you draw dots. So I'm going to take this, it already has red on it, so I'm going to just kind of dip it right into the red paint. I'm going to work with dots. This is another painting technique where you can work with just dots. Notice that right here, it's starting to get, it's not a whole circle, so add more paint to it. Okay, and you can see what happens when you use a bigger brush, bigger dots. Okay, and you're going to fill these areas in. This right here is come up with a technique. It says artist technique. Come up with a cool way or cool something that you would like to practice with. Right, maybe you want to see what happens when you lay down some color, and then what happens when you put another color on top, or if you put dots on top. You could do swirls, like practice some techniques you think you might want to use on your painting. Below here is a value scale, and we did this with our ribbons, or it's not our ribbons, our feathers, where it goes from lightest to darkest. Now with paint, you have to add white or black to the color. So my suggestion is pick a color. Any color you want, okay? I'm going to turn the paint for you. I'm going to work down here with these two colors. I'm going to wash my brush before I start. When you wash, you always rub it on the bottom of the cup, okay? You wipe it on the side and then dry your brush. Always have a paper towel handy for you. So what you're going to do is I'm going to take the purple. I'm going to paint the center one completely purple. Then from here, I'm going to go lighter and then darker. So right here I'm going to add a little bit of white paint. You may use these extra spaces for your color. So I'm going to take a little bit of purple Okay, I'm going to wash my brush because I never want to taint the other colors. You want to make sure that the other colors stay clean. I'm going to put a little bit of white in here and I'm going to mix it together. Okay, now I have a lighter color in value. Now let's try to do an even lighter color. So I'm going to scoop a little more white paint in there, and I'm going to do another color. Now if this isn't light enough, then go back and change it, but you can see the different values. Over here you're going to try to make them darker. So we're going to use the color black. Cleaning my brush. Again, I'm going to take the purple paint, I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to tell you you only need ever so teeny bit of black. I don't know if you can see that, but that is a tiny bit of black. Black is one of those colors where if you add too much of it, it's going to really take over your color. So right here is a dark purple, and then you can add a little more black to get even a darker value of purple. So right here you should see clear distinction between 5 different colors. Now below this, we're going to try different brushes. We're going to try a dry brush, a hard edge, a soft edge, and we're going to skip over the glaze medium, and then we're going to try to blend 2 colors together. So dry brush is simply you have a dry brush, your brush is not wet, you dip it in color, and you paint with it. And you can kind of get these wispy lines. A hard edge is when you get a really clean edge. So you load your brush with a good amount of paint, and then you carefully try to get a really clean line, like that. A soft edge, you're going to start like this, really line like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to wash your brush. And this is really good if you're changing colors. Then what you're going to do is you're going to wash your brush, you're going to dry it just a little bit, and you're going to soften up the edge of the paint. And you can dry, oh, I dipped it in red paint, oh well. And you can soften up the edge of the paint. We're going to skip the glaze medium, and here you're going to blend 2 colors. The 2 colors, you want to make sure that they're 2 colors that blend well together. Right? Pick colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. They blend so much nicer. So let's do orange. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint half of this orange. Okay. My other color that I'm going to paint is yellow. I'm going to paint half of this yellow. You're going to leave a little line in between. This is really good for those of you that are going to do rainbows, or you're going to try to blend like a sky. You're going to wash your brush, dry it, not completely, and then what you're going to do with the brush is you're going to start to blend them together in between. And this is going to create a really nice gradation of color that's transitioning from yellow to orange. And you can practice this with any color. You can use this space right here if you'd like to try to practice those again. So what we're going to do for the class is I want you to practice these different techniques on painting, because what's going to happen is you're going to use some of these in your painting when you start painting next class. If you have any questions, we can replay this video over for you to understand it. When we're done painting, what we need to do is we're going to put all of our brushes back into our cup. We're going to put these in the sink, and I will have somebody clean up and wash the brushes. If you have any questions, just